Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and set up the scenario 7 as many of you have requested. Now in terms of this is concerned, it's going to be in pieces because I really can't have a 2-hour or 3-hour long video. So I'm just going to try to do it as much as I can in different sections. So the first one is going to be for our license server, and thereafter we're going to prep our site, or rather if you want to call it farm, but 7.6, as you know, it's 7.x series is a site as opposed to farm. So we're going to set up our MCI Toronto site, and we're going to set up our domain controller, rather not a domain controller, delivery controller, and our the two XenApp servers as well. And then we're going to come back and set up our storefront and our workstation again. Now you could set up a storefront ahead of time, and even your workstation if you wanted to. However, I'm just going to do it that way. Okay. It's going to be in part, so it's going to be called Scenario 7 as a key tag, and part 1, 2, and 3, so please follow that. Alright, thanks. So let's start with our client server. Now I've already prepped all of my servers except for the storefront and our workstation. So, but beside that, I've already prepped all of our servers. So I'm going to start with the client license. Now, normally we can go ahead with our Citrix installation, the 7X series, without having to do the prerequisites, because it actually does everything on its own. Unfortunately not for the license server. When you do the Citrix license server, it does not install the remote desktop services, the license, the old terminal server licensing services. So we have to go ahead and manually do that. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Add roles and services, next, 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 and then at the bottom remote desktop services, so RDS, and then within RDS we'll find licensing. So just accept the features, so this was the one, and next. Although it won't restart it, but nevertheless I like to do that, so restart if it's required. Now this will probably take a minute. I'm just going to go ahead and pause it until it comes up. In the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and mount the ISO. Okay, 7.6. And while it's doing that, I'm going to bring up the XenApp service. We'll keep that in the back. So the remote desktop services has been installed. It didn't require a reboot, otherwise I would have done it automatically. And in the background, if you look here, the remote desktop services. Okay. And it's installed on the license server. Alright. We can ignore that because since we have already opened this. So we're going to go ahead with this, and we're going to only install the license server. And here's your TOS, accept it, next, next, accept default ports. And shortly thereafter, the license server will be installed and the component initialization will begin. Once that has been finished, we will go ahead and set up our delivery controller, and then our XenApps as well. So while it's doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and boot up my storefront server as well, and quickly join it to the domain. Alright, looks like our license server has already been set up. So wonderful. Now usually what I do is I always give it a lot more RAM than is required. So I'd given it 4 and 4 processors as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly shut this down and change the configuration, because we really don't need that much of resources allocated to our license server. So while it's doing that, I'm going to go back to my storefront, assign the IP address. As I said, I have to multitask, otherwise it's just not going to be convenient. So I'd already assigned the IP address for this. Actually, the storefront IP address needs to be changed. It needs to be 20. So just to ensure we are connected, I'm going to ping the main controller. Right, so everything looks good over there. So restart that, so that's gonna domain join with our DC. Now we're just gonna go ahead and drop this down to 1 each, because realistically speaking we don't need more than that. And that's our client license server, or Citrix license server. However, so the Citrix license server has been configured, so we can move on to the next step of setting up our site, and that will be in the next video.